Hello and welcome to It's All About That Bass Line. Hope you're doing well today. Someone gave me the idea last time to do something with basses. So I've split the All About That Bass live stream series into two. The first one is today, which is for bass guitar lines. And then in I think it's a week and a half, it's going to be synth bass lines. So, Now, I know there's always a chance that, we hear a bass line, we're like, I think that's a synth bass line. And it turns out it's a bass guitar with all sorts of cool effects on it. And so it's not a big deal. I mean, do your best to tell. Okay. Wow. The glasses are dirty as hell today. Ha. How are y'all? What's today? Sunday. Yes. Sunday. What is that from? Sports? Probably. Boop. Okay. That should be way better. All right. So, how long can the song be? Up to 6 minutes long. So we get one request per person and until 12:35 Central, so in half hour. Anyone can make a request. Just put it in the chat, song title, and artist name. And then after that, we will switch to the SuperChats only, which is the paid chats that are there with the colored blocks. And those go into a separate list where I can see them throughout the entire stream. They don't disappear, which is really nice. I will pick based on all sorts of different factors. I'm not going to go by order in terms of who requested first or whatnot. Just give everyone a fair chance. And I'll get to as many of them as I can. So, all right, let's get started. All right. I see Deftones. I'm a little biased. Deftones, Needles and Pins. Chi Chang and Stephen Carpenter use a bass as the guitar on this track. Okay, now that's cool. That's really cool. Let's do that. That sounds awesome. All right. Oh, before I forget, I don't know if anyone is in the market for a music teacher, but if you're interested in taking private lessons with me, I have an opening. It's on Thursdays, once a week, from 6 to 6:45 Central Time. So definitely wouldn't work out for those of you over the pond, but anyone in the US interested? You can email me lessons@ixiemusic.com, and it costs $320 a month. And we can do all sorts of different things. There's lots of stuff I can teach. So reach out if you're interested. Okay. Let's do Deftones, Needles and Pins. Oh, yeah, this is from the Deftones album, which I'm less familiar with than some of the others, actually. Okay. Do they not have it on their own YouTube channel? All right, let's see how the quality of this one is. Oh, yeah. It's going to be so hard for me to not just completely focus on the drums. Oh, that's low. Maybe I'm playing too loud. Yep. Okay. Hang on. There we go. Okay. This is a big 7th chord that he's playing, an arpeggiated descending 7th chord, major 7th chord. That doesn't sound right. Is it okay? Is it the 3rd or the 5th that he's doing? It's that one, right? Yeah, it's okay. It's that one. I can't tell actually what octave it's in. At first I was playing it down here, and then it sounded too deep. It also sounds weird up here, but it's probably just such a tonal difference. Anyway, not only is this cool arpeggiated major 7th chord, but it's also a polyrhythm. It's just da na 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 na. Or wait, da na 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 no no 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 forever until near the end. They switch it up. They actually like stop the pattern and restart it. And that felt like a huge deal. I was like, wow, they did it twice. Okay, but the tone is really interesting. And it is being played very melodically. Like it's not really doing... It's not doing a traditional bass guitar part. You know, having this arpeggio. And because it's the same 3 notes over and over again, it's not chord changes, right? It's like one chord, basically, over and over and over again. So the verses are just in this one spot. And then the chorus does have chords. And so you're saying that the guitarist is also playing a bass. If so, I mean, it sounds like they're playing power chords. It did sound really rich, I will say. Very thick. Yeah. I think I just realized why that song didn't grab me very much is because it sounds kind of like in an alternate universe, a little bit of a My Own Summer, like the vocal rhythm, not the bass part, obviously, and the exact tempo, and like something about it, like structurally, just feels the same, but not to my liking as much as My Own Summer. So I think I was probably just annoyed listening to it. I was like, I just want to hear My Own Summer now. But yeah, that riff is really cool. That's a nice riff, for sure. Okay. Next is the Velvet Underground. I must know this band, right? Sounds so familiar. Nico, Sunday Morning.
Sunday morning brings the dawn in. It's just a restless feeling by my side. Early dawning, Sunday morning. It's just the wasted years so close behind. Watch out, the world's behind you. There's always someone around you who
Singer
will
kind of sounds a little Dylan-y.
It's nothing at all. Sunday morning, and I'm falling. I've got a feeling I don't want to know. Early dawning, Sunday morning. It's all the streets you cross not so long ago. Watch out, the world's behind you. There's always someone around you who will call. It's nothing at all.
first I thought this was like a retro sound by a modern band, but now I'm thinking this is the way that I think it is in fact very old.
There's always someone around you who will call.
Hey, it's Sunday.
It's nothing at all.
I love that chord. It's probably a flat 6.
Sunday morning.
Okay, the fade out seals the deal. I think this is from the 70s. For reals. Because at first I was like, something about the Velvet Underground sounds like a more modern band. Maybe not like today, but like maybe early 2000s or something. I don't know why. But then I think it is actually, because the mix is really different. Like, so different that I don't even think if you took the retro flavor, put that on a modern mix, you would still balance things differently, I think, now. And then also the panning, just like the panning was pretty extreme. So anyway, or maybe it's the 60s. I don't know. But absolutely beautiful. And the bass is really important. The chords are, I had to tune the piano differently so that it would, sorry. There we go. 1 and a 4. And then there was a line cliche, and then and so the bass is providing like a, it's got, it's helping establish the chords, but it's doing a lot in between. It's a very Radiohead kind of bass line. I mean, other way around, I would guess. But you kind of get like, dun, dun, and that's like helping establish the chord. But then there's all these little, I don't know what I would call them, like little, you like walk around a little bit. Walk around until you find your next destination. Dum, 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 something, dum, dum, dum. I already forgot the bass line. I was humming along to it. Now it's like kind of gone. Dun, dun, dun. Sunday morning. Dun, dun, do, do, do. That's like the little walk. Dun, 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 dun. Those little walks. Boop, 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 boop. Which just creates such a cool, interesting bridge between the notes. Now, I think simple bass lines are actually really, really good. They can be really important. But it's nice sometimes when the bassist can kind of do both of these things at the same time. Provide a little melodic kind of content. Create a connection between those bass notes in a really nice way. Because often the roots of chords, if you are playing roots of chords, are kind of farish apart. Not always, but there's often like jumping around. So it kind of helps connect them. It helps keep continuity to sort of like and yeah, that's really nice. Dum, boom. Also has that kind of that rhythm. Dum, 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 dum. Doesn't that feel very like almost 50s actually? Okay, when did this song come out? Did you guys tell me? 67. Okay, nice. Beck did a cover. I can imagine that. There is something kind of charming and quirky about this song. All right, next is Limp Bizkit. I know. Limp Bizkit, Lonely World. I don't know if I've heard this before. Who's the bassist again? Is it Wes Borland? Am I thinking of someone else? No, he's a guitarist. Okay. I met the Limp Bizkit drummer's wife on a tour bus. Sam Rivers.
Ignorance was bliss, back in the days where the magic exists. Never be the same as it was, cause the way it was, just another day in the maze of a myth. Had a lot of fun living life on the run, never had a chance to pause, to get a better glance. Everything was free, and everything was fast, never even thought it wouldn't last. When you got the mind of a man in the middle, life is just a big fat riddle, so figure it out. Always thinking that you know every little thing there is to know, but you don't really know, you know. It's like
Oh, he
love.
died.
Some
Oh,
people
yeah,
get it. For
that's
some it's just a
right.
glove that just never fitted. For me it's just a pain in the ass, but I'm addicted to the taste of hoping it could last. Another day, another night inside a lonely world.
Sounds like he's very busy
Another game,
with his
another fight inside a lonely world.
articulation. Ooh.
Another ride inside a lonely world. Such a lonely world.
I've never heard this.
Lonely world. Man in the middle. Who's the man in the middle?
Oh, there's also a delay on it. It's shimmery and there's a delay. And that part, I gotta talk about that high part.
At least I can say that I never been a quitter. I remember high school, man, I hated high school. It was like prison, with bullies always putting me down. Just a little skater boy they could pick on. I learned to forgive them. Now I got the balls they can lick on. I love sneaking out when my mama's asleep, with my gothic girlfriend making love in the creek. With the mind of a man in the middle, it could be the end of the world as we know it. Still I never want it all and I never want it now. I just wanna cruise, if I lose then I'll figure it out. How the time flies even with the blink of an eye. When you're young you absorb like a sponge in the skies. Then you get a little older and gather your thoughts. It's amazing what you learn when you've never been taught, you know. Another day, another night inside a lonely world. Another game, another fight inside a lonely world. Another wrong, another right inside a lonely world. Such a lonely world. Such a lonely world. No matter how hard I can try inside a lonely world, no one can hear me when I cry inside.
What vocal harmonies?
I'll never know the reasons why inside a lonely world. Such a lonely world. No matter how hard I can try inside a lonely world, no one can hear me when I cry inside a lonely world. I'll never know the reasons why inside a lonely world. Such a lonely world. Such a lonely world. Another day, another night inside a lonely world. Another game, another fight inside a lonely world. Another wrong, another right inside a lonely world. Such a lonely world. Such a lonely world. Such a lonely world. Who's the man? Such a lonely world. Who's the man? Such a lonely world. Who's the man? Such a lonely world.
So this bass part is, you know, fairly simple. It's just the roots of the chords, I would say. But yeah, it's got a nice tone. It's got, I feel like it's kind of shimmery sounding. And there's a delay on it. And I just want, the only thing I want to say is the da-na-na-na-na-na. That part is like, for a moment, he becomes melodic. So it's a nice little, and I really like how hot, like bass played in a higher range sounds, especially when it's just for like a moment. There's something so special and sweet about that sound. Same with like when a cello plays high, something about those like huge instruments playing high. It doesn't sound the same as when a smaller instrument, you know, or with something with smaller strings or whatever plays that same exact note. It just has a completely different timbre. It's really nice when the bass goes up there. That's pretty. All right, the next one is Paz. I remember one time learning how to pronounce her last name, and now I've forgotten. Lenchantin? Paz Lenchantin? Who I know only from A Perfect Circle, playing bass and fiddle, or violin. So this should be really cool. It's called Novela. Oh, it's the music video. Let's do the... See, there's the bass high. It's so pretty. Oh, that's so sweet. Did you hear the bass go high for a moment? It's so nice. Okay, this is making me remember. So with a student, we were doing some ear training with Radiohead's song "Optimistic," and so to better help them hear the guitar parts, we put it through a stem splitter. And then when we went to the bass guitar part, just for curiosity, we were both like, "Wow, there's so like the bass part is so good, but you don't really." I mean, at least we had never really paid that much attention to it. You know, there were other elements that are pulling our attention listening to that song, and it just made me think, you know, I want to like split the stems of everything ever and find all the hidden layers. And I bet you like a lot of those hidden layers will be the bass lines. You know, like there's something to be said for a bass line that does not call attention to itself most of the time. You know, maybe there's like a moment where there's almost like a clearing in the landscape and you kind of hear it poke through and you're like, ooh, that was nice. But normally it's kind of more in a supportive role, right? It's kind of the backbone of the whole song. And then you have bands like Tool where the bass is treated much more as a, you know, a standalone instrument or, you know, a soloing instrument, having a very equal, different role. But they kind of redefine a lot of roles, I think, in their music anyway. So, you know, but usually the bass, you know, is working really hard to make the song amazing. You don't even realize it, and you may not even notice it. But if it weren't there, of course, you would be like, why does this feel so incomplete? Why does this feel like half of a song? You know, I mean, when I'm writing music, once I add a bass line of any kind, anything in the low end, it's like now it sounds like a real song. But before that, it doesn't sound finished. So I just wanted to exalt basses for a second. Okay, our next one is called Money by Lewis Cole. We actually featured one of his tracks on the drumming stream because he's an incredible drummer. But of course he plays probably everything. Did I say what it was called? Money? Sorry. Jesus, and he can sing too?
Evolution takes a break. Green becomes the only race. Freedom fades so far away, and the grim we don't care how much you make. Money, money makes you rich, I guess. Money, money turns my no into a yes. No plan B and no pullout. I sound the same with or without. I'll give the truth, not send it out. I don't wanna even sing without a breath. Money, won't let it mess me up.
I love that part. Shit.
Money, some freedom is enough.
Oh, by the way, I think there was a flat six. I forgot. Oh, no, that's... Ugh. Milo, do you want to go on the porch, honey? Oh my God, that's so good. That's so good. Okay, I'm gonna let Milo on the porch. Come here. Come on. Okay. Yeah, so that was a great request. That's very, I mean, the bass is featured, right? I mean, the chorus is so sparse, the vocal melody, you know? There's so much room for the bass to come through and be this, you know, another star. And the that part is the rhythm of that, and the pattern of it going down, and the little of like low high, like that's just so satisfying, and it's super syncopated. He's a rhythm genius, and also apparently a harmony genius. I'm kind of fangirling right now. Shit, I had no idea he could do all of that until this moment. I thought he was just a really good drummer. So damn. So that was slap bass, right? I mean, you could tell, like, the way his hand was, and the way he was. I mean, I guess it didn't really look like slapping. It kind of looked like pulling. I don't know, whatever. But it sounded like slap bass, but like nice. No Seinfeld. That was a synth too, right? Wasn't it? It had to have been. Damn, that was so good. All right, we're gonna have to move to super chat. Oh, but I had one more. Okay, I changed my mind. We're gonna do the Vulfpeck, Dean Town, real quick. Look at that motor. Okay, this was a good choice. Feels very bass heavy already. That sounds exhausting. That picking pattern, or not picking, plucking pattern? Is that what you call it with bass? Plucking? Picking. Finger picking. Set me right. Set me straight. Wow. Okay, that was awesome. Also, okay, I was a little distracted by the percussion, the rhythm section, I should say. Well, I guess the rhythm section involves the bass, doesn't it? Anyway, the drums. There's two people, and they were together making one drum beat. I thought that was really interesting. It wasn't a kick drum. It wasn't a kit. It was like there was a hi-hat, something that looked like a lamp shade, and then another person was playing the snare and then hitting maybe a kick drum, or maybe it was a really low tom. I don't know, but it was not set this way. It was set this way, and they were hitting it with a fairly fuzzy mallet with their hand. But yeah, okay, the bass is awesome. So that's like, not being a guitar player, I'm still sort of trying to understand exactly what a riff is based on context. But I feel like that was all riffs, right? That was riffs. Like, they were like, it would be difficult to sing. You know, they're very like, and you could sing over them. Of course, they didn't. And there was repetition, and the guitar and the bass, or guitars, were playing in unison on that one riff. So I don't know. So that's what I would call it at the moment. Yeah, those were awesome. Very funky, incredibly syncopated. And I think the unison sounded really good. I love harmony, but sometimes unison, especially, well, actually, it's not fully unison, because I think the guitar was playing octave higher, or maybe even there was one that was 2 octaves higher, but playing the same line, you know, with no harmony. Yeah, sounded really good. That was groovy as fuck. A riff is anything that's not a chord or a solo. I feel like it has to repeat too, right? Like, I feel like it's got to be something that repeats, so you can be like, oh, I love that riff. You know, oh, that riff is, you know, like a, I don't know. Actually, what does Google say? I'm not going to look at the AI overview. I want to see what is a riff? Let's go to Reddit. I feel like I have a general idea of what it is, but I'm not sure. If anyone can clarify for me, that'd be super appreciated. To my understanding, a riff is something like the beginning guitar part of I Think I'm Okay by MGK. I don't know what that is. But I was also wondering if songs need them. Like, for example, does One Call Away by Charlie Puth have a riff? If so, what is it? Okay. It's just a short phrase, like a lick. And then someone says, a lick is more noodly. A riff is more repetitive. It's just another name for a motif. It's a short melodic fragment which is repeated throughout the piece with or without variation. I feel like this is a really great question because at its core, riff is a sort of ambiguous term. Okay. Yeah. It sounds like it's something that's repeated. Yeah. I love how people say a riff is like a motif or a lick. Like, well, hopefully you know what those mean. Otherwise, yeah. Interesting. Well, maybe it's just one of those words that, you know, you understand based on context when you're talking to someone about it. Well, whatever was happening there, that was badass. Super bass. Okay, next. We're going to Super Chat land. Let me update this. Super Chat requests. Okay. Uh-huh. Okay. Let's see what we got here. Oh, let's start with Rush. Of course. Malignant Narcissism by Rush. Getty on a fretless. Neil on a 4-piece. A 4-piece? Meaning, a drum kit, right, okay. And Alex on a deadline. You can bump this for any other Rush suggestion. No. We're going to do what you want. This is Muted Swan's request. Muted Swan helps out so much. drums are really distracting. Nice hot song.
Usually cases linked with narcissism brought on during childhood.
Wow. This part's so trippy. It's like Phrygian or something. Hey. The bass gets the last note. Okay, that was dope. Sounded very Phrygian to me. And the bass was doing something like there was I don't know what this is called, but it's like there was one note that is in between the main notes. That one. It's just like filling in all the gaps rhythmically. And it gives it so much more groove than if it was just. Right, it's kind of a little bit boring, honestly. Just a little bit. Na 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 na. This is how we do it. Okay. You know, that's just dope, is what it is. I already said that. Shit. Never use the same adjective in the same twice in the same day. So my mom says. Okay. Yeah, that was great. A Bach trick. Oh yeah, Bach trick. That was good. But yeah, I was very distracted by the drums. It's like, please only request songs with cool bass lines, but the rest of the song sucks, so that I can listen to the bass line. Thank you. Oh, kidding. Yeah, that was good. Very clearly featuring the bass as well. So now we've had several instrumentals, right? Or at least two, where the bass really, the Vulfpeck one, really came through. That might be a theme, you know? You got to make room, right? Because the bass is low. So I don't know, those lower frequencies are just harder to hear. And it's even for some reason, and I'm sure scientists know why, but it's just harder for us to differentiate pitches the lower it gets. Anyway. Also, I just realized I should be like, I mean, there's a little headphones icon in the title of this, but I hope y'all are either wearing headphones or listening on speakers that can produce bass or something, you know. If you're caught watching this on a cell phone, that's, you know, hopefully you can watch it later when you can hear the bass. The bass. Okay. Thanks for slapping the bass, y'all. Thanks, James. Okay. Sorry, just laughing at one of the names of, I don't know, an artist or a title. Oh, Fugazi. Okay, I've listened to a little bit, and I thought it was very cool. Stephen W. requests, Fugazi, Cash Out. So much happening in this song, especially for a punk record, but Joe Lally's bass really makes its presence known. Thank you also for spelling the possessive form of its correctly. I'll have to tell my mom. Okay, we can talk about that. That's cool. That has some harmonic stuff going on that's pretty uncommon. I haven't really heard very often. But the bass, from what I could tell, because I'll be honest, occasionally I will mistake the guitar for the bass or vice versa. But when the guitar was going and then the bass came in, then it was like obvious. I think they were in unison at some points, perhaps, but they were doing this little offbeat figure. Da-da-da, da-da-da. Da, 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 da. That's really cool because, like, I don't know. I think a lot of the time bass lines are pretty persistently at some point happening on the downbeat and of course other notes too. But like that's, they're there for that very all important sort of like beginning of a bar where chord changes usually happen. So the fact that it's sort of offset and it's like late is kind of cool. So the chord change almost feels late. Not like bad, but like a little delayed or something, which is just fun. It's just cool sounding. And then there was that one part where it went. What note is there? It went down chromatically and made complete sense because it was basically hitting. Radiohead does this a lot too. Hitting notes that are harmonically significant for the chord at the time, usually on like a downbeat or kind of a stressed beat, and then kind of hitting like in between notes other times, and but you can follow it. You can definitely tell that it's kind of just going down like step like you're going down a staircase. It's really easy for our feeble human minds to follow that pattern. So we're like very focused on it. So we're listening to the line itself, kind of just da-da-da-da, and we're also listening for how it's relating to the chords. And it was really nice. Where it started and where it landed and when it landed was very satisfying. That's cool. Good song. Cash out. All right, next. I just have to do Matt Nolan's because I can't get over this. Cake Hole by Get the Blessing. Bass and brass. Cake Hole. That's cool. The bass was a bit more active in the other section. I feel like there's an A section and a B section. I don't know which one's which, but like this last one, which, yeah, the bass isn't doing a whole lot, but that one's pretty dope. And again, it has sort of a low note that's kind of filling in all the blanks of the main accents. I'm sure there's a name for it. And probably I've looked it up before. Didn't really know how to phrase it. You know, it's hard to be like, what do you call it when... It's so much easier to just pull a musician aside and be like, what do you call it when it goes like... Or like... Yes, music is the universal language, my friends. Okay, next one is a bass solo piece. Michael Manring, and it's called Tetrahedron. I'm going to watch the video. I've been told to watch the video. This is requested by, I think, me Morp. Okay. It's a fretless bass featuring harmonics and detuning. Okay. Oh my God. You need to watch this video because I mean, I think playing a fretless bass and having that kind of intonation is already really impressive. This neck is like this long, and you have to know exactly where to put. I mean, I couldn't see anything on it. There weren't like tapes or anything. You just somehow in this like seamless line know exactly where to put your finger. Now, that's already very impressive to me. And I know that string player, violinists and cellists and everything, they also do this. And I remember playing violin when I was a little kid, and it was really, really hard. But we had tape on the neck. So that is just something I've always really admired about bowed, normally string players. But also, he's like the trombone. That's a good point. You're right. I mean, brass, okay, that's a whole other tangent. But yeah, I think brass players are incredible. I had no idea that they were basically like changing the note with their mouth. Anyway, so that's just, it's beautiful. But also the switching between, you hit these low notes and then he'd hit the harmonics. But then he's tuning. He's got, tuning pegs. He also tuned down at the bridge. I don't know if that's what you call it on a guitar, but that's how it is on a violin. But like way down at the bottom, he was tuning there as well. And so when he goes to do that, he reaches up, and sometimes he would need to replace. Sometimes he was putting his right hand on the note to tune around, maybe like on this peg or something, and then he would replace it. These like seamless little replacements as he's, just, and then to learn exactly how far to, I mean, I know it's not magic or anything, but it just felt pretty spectacular. And to top it all off, it was such a beautiful piece of music, incredible sense of harmony. So many delicious chords. I mean, I don't think any of it was like, I don't think it was any sort of like crazy mode or anything. I think it was just in the minor key. It's just so good. I mean, a lot of Tool is just in the minor key. And I have to say, I thought about Tool a little bit. I was like, there's something about the way he's composing. I was like, I know that you couldn't actually take what he did and then like make it into a Tool song. But if you could, God, would that sound amazing? I mean, it's perfect exactly the way it is. Just my brain just kind of went there. I couldn't help it myself. But yeah, the sensitivity, and I mean, he's totally in his own rhythmic pocket, and he's tonally in the pocket, and the chords were so, man. Okay, well, anyway, that was incredible. Thank you so much for that. We may have just peaked. Damn. Okay. All right. Who requested something in a super chat that has a pretty complicated bass line? Because I think we need to like ease our way out of this and not go to like a na 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 na. I think we need to like. I don't want to give us whiplash. Yeah. Damn. That was called a hyper bass, by the way. I don't even know what that means. He says, Zon Michael Manring hyper bass prototype. So, so he make it? God. Amazing. It looks like he also plays some other instrument. Maybe? Is that a banjo? I'm looking at his Bandcamp. Wow. Is that better than a super bass? Good question. Okay. I'm not sure if we've listened to this one. It feels like maybe we did, but I'm just curious. Maybe not. It's a Lamb track called Gold, requested by oh, I'm afraid to say your name, my friend. But you know who you are. Maybe you can give me a phonetic spelling. Svenunglitsheim. A double bass.
Stay with me forever and a day if I could be near you for a lifetime. I'd never want for anything. Hearing your voice is like icicles down my spine and touching your warm skin starts electric storms through my mind. You put a strength
Wow.
in me. I knew something was missing. Just take me everywhere you go. This girl's in heaven. Feeling this way about someone like you couldn't be clearer or dearer or so overdue. So sure, so pure, so much what I was looking for. Here you are, filling up my life, my life. You put a strand.
She thinks she's gonna say you put a spell on me or something.
I knew something was missing. Just take me everywhere you go. This girl's in heaven.
Drums are dope too.
Life is lighting everything around you when you ask why. Everything I touch is gold.
Wow.
Couldn't be a better place
Oh,
to
it's
be
being
than
bowed
just
now.
around you.
I guess this isn't a bass guitar. I just realized that.
No, no, no.
Oh well.
No, 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 no. 'Cause you put a strength in me. I knew something was missing. Just take me everywhere you go. Oh, 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 oh.
That bass is a Herbie Hancock sound sample. Oh. Or something else. This is okay. If that double bass is a sample, that makes sense because there is something really interesting happening in this song. Oh, I need to retune my piano. Sorry. Tuning. The bass line is kind of doing this. You hear that kind of dark sound, half step. But the kind of maybe vibraphone chords are going like, I think they're doing like a Dorian thing, which is in conflict with the bass. So there's this really strange kind of dissonance that's happening. And then at one point, and then it finally does like match up at the very end. I think that's what was happening. That's really, I couldn't figure out. It's like something is so strange. I feel like I'm between worlds. We were. Okay, so that sample was from Vein Melter by Herbie Hancock. Cool. Nice. Yeah, that was beautiful. That's a great, I love double bass, I have to say. I think it just has a very special sound. And I love when I hear it in genres that maybe it didn't originate. I used to play around with, there was like an okay, like patch or whatever, sample. There was a setting on some sampler and Reason when I was like a teenager. And it sounded decent. So I would put the double bass in so many songs. I don't know if I ever did a trance song with double bass, but I did like all sorts of other electronic genres with it. And it just sounds awesome. It's a little thinner, of course, than like a synth bass or something a little bit more round and bloopy, but it's just got such a good quality. That was a very cool track. I think it was in 3/4, which is also kind of unusual for trip hop, maybe. All right. Let's do Coccyx the Skeleton's request. Serge Gainsbourg. Melody, maybe? Version violin complet. Sans outro. Okay. And that's all we got. We don't have any more information. Rhythm sounds like Section of Your Love. Is this from that? No. Released in 2019. Wow. Something's going on with the drums. I can't figure out. Bass. Okay, I know you can't copyright rhythms, but maybe we should be able to, because that dun 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 dun. I mean, like, I can't not think about that riff from Sunshine of Your Love. It's like every time they did theirs, I was like, this is wrong. Like, my brain was like, that's not what it sounds like. Those are the wrong notes. It's like someone being like, okay, take Sunshine of Your Love, but change all the notes. Like, ah! Whoa, that's wild. There's a lot of wild stuff going on in that song. Okay, but in terms of the bass, that bass was super active, I have to say. It was almost a lot. Like, I couldn't, like, it was doing so much, but also so was the guitar. They were almost had like a, I mean, you can really hear it in the Sunshine of Your Love riff where the bass is climbing up and the guitar is going down. There was a lot, I don't know, they almost had this counterpoint thing happening, but not really. Whoa. What was going on with those drums? I know that's not what this was about, but something about the hi-hats was like, these sound like they're being played, but then this one little hiccup thing would keep happening with the hi-hat, and I was like, now it sounds like it's being chopped up, and I was like, but it's probably not. It's probably something to do with a gate or a, I don't know. It was really odd. Wow. I enjoyed it, but also it was weird for me. Interesting. But yeah, I couldn't really focus on the bass because the guitar was doing so much too, and it was just like a lot. They were competing with each other. Maybe that's the point. I don't know. Interesting. That's all I'm gonna have to say about it, is that was interesting. A cop-out and adjective, I know. Okay. All right. God, time goes fast. Next is okay, Satcom Demon has a request. I shall honor it. Brainless Wonder by Nomeansno, bonkers bass playing. Bonkers. Okay. Tone. Oh, fuck. Wow. Okay, at first I have to admit I was having trouble hearing it. I feel like the mix is not very bassy. But as I started leaning deeply into it, I was like, okay, so at the beginning, the guitar and the bass are basically playing kind of the same riff. I mean, the guitar is doing those like big chords, but the like like they were playing in unison kind of, or in octaves or whatever, but same notes. So it was probably playing that same rhythm of which is sounds really hard. And then during the other section, again, it sounded like they were kind of in unison or an octave apart. And then there was, of course, the crazy part. This part. Where is it? Where is it? Okay, well, there's that part as well. There's a little. But there was another section where the bass was doing some really funky stuff. Yeah, that sounds exhausting. The tone for a lot of it, like that note sounded really like typical to me, like da-na-na-na-na-na. But down here, it sounds really nasty. What is it reminding me of? Like almost like the note itself is gone. Like you can't really hear the note. It's mostly just all the other elements of a sound. Okay, I thought of what it reminds me of, but I don't think this is a very popular song, so I don't think most people are going to know it. But the beginning of Greg Puciato track, is it Evacuation or is it? No, is it the other one? Absence is a present. Yeah. So maybe there's distortion on it or something. Anyway, it's really blah. Wow. Yeah. Good morning, Nick. Or good night. I don't know. It's like some horrible time for you right now. All right. Vague. I was hoping you would join and request because Vague plays bass. Okay. It's over the time limit. Oh no, why you do this to me? My loyalty to you. I'm confused. I'm emotionally fraught with Oh, so we already did Rush. So I guess I have to follow the rules. But he requested Rush's Headlong Flight. Oh, well. Thank you. I'm sorry. Okay. Back up here. Vorlin-esque. Cop Shoot Cop. Room 429. The band didn't have a lead guitar, but instead used 2 bass guitars along with a sampler and a drum kit that incorporated found objects. The 2 bass guitars giving them a unique sound. That does sound cool. All right.
What you don't understand is where everything's leading. When all of the signs you see still point to overload. As you reach out your hand, a shattered picture is receding. Like taillights along that lonesome stretch of broken road. You've been to the past, and it's just a reminder, a recollection of faces that will never come to call. When you've cut through the mask, when you've been through the grinder, sometimes you forget that you had ever been there at all. Up here in room 429, yeah, the world ain't so unkind. I wanna take you to that empty room tonight. In the shadow of doubt, in the crush of an instant, standing in the rain outside my door and on your knife. When you reach a brick wall,
So much chromaticism.
there's still a decision. Always thought if I had to lose, I'd surely choose my life. Up here in room 429, yeah, the world ain't so kind. I wanna take you to that empty room tonight. We'll tell the world outside the door that we're never coming back no more.
Yeah, so that one, the bass is really just doing these chromatic, this. Somehow they make it really cool, though. It feels very, like, yeah, it's definitely not doing, I think, the traditional job of a bass. I love that. I mean, it's definitely holding up the song in the low end, but it's also doing something that's very almost harmonic as opposed to, well, okay, how to put this? Instead of giving us a foundation of the harmony, it's like giving us the little colors of the harmony. It's not a very good explanation. It makes sense in my head, though. I was just thinking while we were listening to this, I was like, bands that are very, like rock bands that have a lot of like bass stuff in it. I thought about Royal Blood, which I didn't even know was just one bass player with an octave pedal or whatever. And how good that sounds when it's just, again, like a riff in unison like that or in octaves. And how that can, again, you can kind of take care of the harmonic foundation as well as the color at the same time with just one lick. As long as it's low, because that's kind of, I don't know, like our ears are like kind of building harmony from the bottom up. So that low end is really important. And then I was also thinking about Myxomatosis by Radiohead, how that's, that is this kind of moving line. It's kind of melodic, and it's got some cool effect on it that makes it sound. I always thought it was a synth until I realized it wasn't. Right? I'm pretty sure it's the bass guitar. I'm 99.7% sure. But that's such a fat, prominent bass in the song. I mean, you can't ignore it. It's like it's got just as much presence as the vocal melody, which is really cool, and they interact really well with each other. Oh gosh, there's so much we could request. Okay, well, the next one I'm going to play is just such a good song, and the bass definitely has, I think, a bit of a growly tone to it. It's played pretty fucking low, I think. And it's got an aggression that I think is really awesome. And so we're going to listen to Wood by Alice in Chains. Okay. Oh god, that bass line from Filters, Hey Man, Not Shot. Also, oh no! That was a bad ring. I love the rhythm of this. It's definitely related to the drum groove or vice versa. They're working together. I love those. Okay, it's not about the drums. Okay, I pretty much said everything I wanted to say already about the bass just from the beginning. Oh my God, YouTube is requiring me to verify my identity right now in the middle of a live stream. Okay, I guess I have to. I don't know what's going to happen. Hopefully the stream keeps going. Okay, seems like it's fine. Okay, we're going to listen to Negative Vibes request. Dragonball Durag, sorry, by Thundercat. He's one of the biggest and most prolific innovators in the bass world right now. Plus, the song is super funny. Okay, cool. Modern day bass. Hell yeah.
I feel kind of fly standing next to you. Baby girl, how do I look in my Durag? Would you tell me the truth? Stay with me and love me through the night. Endlessly, I'ma keep on all my chains when I'm making love to you. Hold me close and let me squeeze your tag.
Wait, Thundercat. Wait.
But baby girl, how do I look in my Durag? Would you tell me the truth?
Why does that sound familiar?
Do you like my do it? Watch me go zoom, zoom. Baby girl, how do I look in my Durag? Would you tie the trees? Stay with me and love me through the night. Endlessly, I just wanna know how you feel. Tell me, am I doing it right? I may be covered in cat hair.
What effect is that? It's kind of talkative.
How do I look in my Durag? Don't love me. Let me rock you all night long. I'm trying to impress you, girl. Let me know, how do I look in my Durag? I'm trying to get intimate. Let me love you like you've never been before, baby. You don't have to like my video games or my comic books. Baby girl, how do I look in my Durag? Did I tie it right? Did you wear that dress just for me? 'Cause I'm trying to smash. Baby girl, I'm smashing my Durag. 'Cause it's only right. Do you like the way my ice drips in the light? Baby girl, do you like me in my Durag? Let me know. Would you let me know? Let me know, girl. Let's make love until we fall asleep. I like the way you feel next to me. Baby, you look so good in this moonlight. Stay with me and love
Time.
baby. Let's make love until we fall asleep.
That's such a good video. That's wonderful. You should watch it. I'm not going to tell you what happens. That was funky. That was really funky. What was the effect, do you think? Is that wow? Why was it going wow? Why was it so wowy? Oh my goodness. An envelope filter. Oh yeah? It's got to be a sexier name for that. Some excellent harmony. Some say Ottawa. Or a flanger. Mutron envelope filter. Okay, all right. Well, it sounded very funky and it sounded very like 70s. Wowie zowie. Yeah, that's what I would call it. I'll call it the wowie zowie filter. Wow. Very funky. To the point where I almost thought it was one of those What are they called? Not clavicle. Clavinet? Clavinet? I think. I think. Clavinet. Almost sounded like that, but then I was like, no, it's got to be a real bass. A womp filter. Womp. Womp, womp, womp. Okay. Let's see. We got... Ha 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 ha. Cracked Machine has requested Girls Against Boys, the kind of music you like. Why have one bass player when you can have two? Hey, here we go. Another one with two bass players. Fuzzy. Has such a good groove. I love how syncopated the bass is. All those offbeats. Very nice. Very nice. Okay. Next is Drixia's request, which is Disorder by Joy Division.
sensations make me feel the pleasures of a normal man. These sensations spare the insults, leave them for another day. I've got the spirit, lose the feeling, take the shock away. Getting faster, moving faster, now it's getting out of hand. On the 10th floor, down the back stairs, into no man's land. Lights are flashing, cars are crashing, getting frequent now. I've got the spirit, lose the feeling, let it out somehow.
There's some funky note down there. That didn't happen that time.
What means to you, what means to me, and we will meet again. I'm watching you, I watch it all, I take no pity from your friends. Who is right, who can tell, and who gives a damn right now? Until the spirit new sensation takes hold, then you know. Until the spirit new sensation takes hold, then you know. Until the spirit new sensation takes hold, then you know. I got the spirit, but lose a feeling. I got the spirit.
Oh, face is popping off.
But there's a feeling. Feeling, 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 feeling.
Okay, the bass spanned a very wide range for this one. They're playing like the roots of the chords for the most part, and they're not connecting them. There's no little walks. They're just jumping, 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 and they're picking a pretty wide way, like a very spacious way to cover that ground, you know. But yeah, it's nice. You get to hear the high, and then it goes low, and then near, I guess it was the chorus maybe, it went really low for just a second, and you're like, bam. So it's very exposed in the mix as well, right? There's not... I know there was a guitar, but it was also kind of doing a repeating riff, or even an ostinato, if you please. And it just kind of almost faded into the background. And it just felt like bass and drums and vocals, interestingly enough. Yeah. Okay. All right, we're going to do Primus. I mean, we kind of have to. I think legally. Bob. Woo! Oh my God. Pride sound. He's so creative. Nice some triplets too. Look at the That's the bass, right? Okay, wow. So textural, this band. So much he's doing with this one instrument. I got to see Primus twice, actually. It was the Sasanta tour where they had Pussifer and Primus and A Perfect Circle, right? Wasn't it? Yeah. It was thrilling live. I've never really listened to the music, but of course I recognized quite a few tracks. I was like, oh, that's Primus? Oh yeah, I heard that on the radio, My Name is Mud, and he was just trucking along doing these crazy things over and over and over and over and over again, forever and ever. And I was just like that. Because, we've all had that experience where you do something technically difficult and you do it you can do it 4 or 5 times, and then something starts to happen. You start to get fatigued, or your brain starts to think too hard and you start to lose it. He's just doing it over and over. And I was like, oh my God. Yeah. So I really like the interplay between the bass and the guitar part. That was, they felt very connected, and they flowed into each other really nicely. But yeah, it's so crunchy and textured and bitey and punctuated, everything that he's doing with the bass. And that last part, and I guess the beginning also, with the bends and the tone, that really shiny tone. So I've recognized this in lots of songs. I would say The Cure is one example, where the bass player has this certain tone that sounds shimmery to me. And I'm curious if it's just as simple as a chorus, or if there's something more going on there. I'm sure you know. Tell me. Okay, next we're going to do Squarepusher, Come On My Selector, which I'm pretty sure I've heard, but you know. Of course. Okay. Thanks, guys. Is this gonna have a real bass though? By real, I mean, sorry, bass guitar. I mean, I know he plays instruments, so I figured, but maybe we just have to wait for it. That is a real bass with effects? Wow. Oh yeah, I've seen the music video for this. That's what YouTube said. I just don't really remember the song for some reason.
Let the bass kick.
Oh. Well, that's definitely a bass guitar. Very bluesy. This tone is also kind of complaining.
Motherfucking daddy.
It's very like the vowel shape is like
That sounds alright, mate. That sounds like Goldie. That sounds alright, mate. That sounds like Goldie.
I must have been so enamored by the music video that I don't even remember the music at all. Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's very I would say the scale he was using was blues for sure. But also, well, I don't know. It's bluesy at least. There's a note that's not technically in the blues scale, but I hear that note all the time in blues music. So I'm just going to say it's blues. Blues, it's a blues riff for sure. And then surrounded by this very frantic, break beats and drum and bass, kind of jungle-y. I don't know. I can never tell the difference. Let's go with jungle. I'm going to just say it's jungle. What do you think? Am I wrong? Am I right? Do we know? I can never get them straight. I'll have to ask my friend Nick again to explain it. But really, explaining it with words is not that helpful. I need to listen to the examples, and then I can make the categorization. I can figure it out. It was Amen, so that'd be jungle. Interesting. Really? Is that the defining characteristic? Interesting. There is that really prominent tambourine in the Amen break that feels interesting. Okay. But yeah, that's nice. That's it. I don't think we usually hear that kind of bass line in jungle. So that's just a very unique situation. Very nice. Okay, guys, I'm sorry, but we have to go. We're over time already, and I must away. Thank you so much for your incredible requests for bass guitar awesomeness. We will certainly do another bass guitar stream. It's going to have to be in June, maybe mid-June. Our next, here's what's on the docket. No stream this Wednesday. I'm teaching. On Friday, if you're a patron and you can join, we're listening to Inferno by Boards of Canada at 12 noon Central. And then the next day, on the 30th, at 12 p.m., also Patreon live stream, song requests, and maybe we'll do bass. And then at 4 o'clock, my mama's listening to more Tool. Oh, yeah. And I saw her last night. She was going on and on about Tool. She was like, I don't understand why this is affecting me so much, but this is like my new favorite band for real. She was like, I just need to hear everything, and I want the CDs in my car. And, I played her a little bit of Pussifer, and she was like, nah. And I was like, I had a feeling. She's like, no, but Tool. And then on Sunday the 31st at 3 o'clock Central is our monthly Torture Me. So that's when you request songs that you think I will not be able to listen to the whole thing, that I just will have to move on because I can't handle it for whatever reason. And then on June 3rd, which is Wednesday, we're going to do synth bass tracks, or tracks with awesome synth bass, I should say. And that's at 5 o'clock. So for those of you in Australia, hopefully that's better for you. After that, things aren't defined. So we can do maybe Sunday the 7th, we can do more bass guitar. Okay. Yay. All right, y'all. Thank you so much. And I'll see you in the next live stream next week. I mean, on Friday maybe, or Saturday. Okay. Bye.